Hi guys. What I'm going to do today is a kind of like a pop-up card, and I am using the Let's Toast pull-up tab add-on, and I thought this could be used not just for the stamps that they were made to go with by Fawn, but I thought we could do something a little bit different today, so I'm going to show you that. So that's the die set that I've used there, and the pieces that you'll need for that are this little connector thing, which is this big one here that looks like a big T. Then there's a little piece like so, that's this funny tab thing there, and that's actually going to hold it on the back of the card so it doesn't wiggle all over the place. And then we're going to need this little guy, which is this tab here, and basically it's just a tab to show where someone needs to pull that up so that it moves. So I've die cut that. So this is the Let's Toast pull tab add-on, and it goes with the Let's Toast, I can't talk today, Let's Toast stamp and die set. It's very cute. So that's one die set that we've used. I'll go through the dies and I'll show you the stamps. I then used the Fawn spring showers, and I used the sun, so that's the sun there. I have used the these are the Grassy Hillside pop-up add-on. So if you've got the Grassy Hillside, which is a piece that goes, when you fold it, it actually goes inside the card, so when you open the card you then have this pop-up piece inside your card. But I'm actually not using them with that, I'm using them as just like Grassy Hills, so that's another way to use them, and that's these two pieces here. I've got Stampin' Up! Banners. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, Banners frameless dies. I don't know, I think these are still in the current catalogue in 2019, I'm not sure. If anybody knows, maybe you can, just let us know. But I've used the smallest one, which we're going to do the sentiment. I also used Fawn stitched rectangles, large and small dies. That's the word. And I used the largest of the large set. Both of mine are in here. The largest of the large set will do the front of an A2 card, which is 4 which is what size is it? 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Bosh. So that's what I used there. And the stamp sets, I'm going to use a very old stamp set. This is a Peachy Keen. This one is Happy Lashes assortment, and there's basically a bunch of different sizes and the same 6 different designs, but all in different sizes, and then there's one massive one over there. These were massive about 10, 11, 12 whatever years ago, and I don't know, I haven't got any updates on the company or anything like that, but I needed a face, and you'll see why in a bit. So this is what they look like. They're it's just all the different sizes of face stamps. I love them. So that was nice to drag that out as well. And then we have Easter Party, which is a Fawn stamp set, and that's the one we're using today. So what I'll do is I'll explain a bit more about how this is going to go together, and then I will, because there's a couple of things I just want to explain, and then I will insert the bit where I've coloured these images in, so you can watch that, and it's a fast forwarded version, but hopefully you'll be able to see what I've done. And I used Copic markers to colour them in, just on some mixed media card, which I think I stamped them on there not thinking I was going to use Copic markers, and then chose to use them, and they work pretty well. It's a little it's not as smooth to work with, because obviously it's meant for sort of more mixed media, water, that kind of thing, or paint, as a cardstock, but it I I think it worked pretty well. I'm happy with what it did. So let me just show you some of the images. I'll just hold the main characters up here, and I've added what did I add there? I added some glitter gloss. This is a Nouveau. It's like a clear, glittery, very, very, very fine glitter pen. So I added it to her, I guess the center of the flower, and then to his beak and to his nose. And I then added some, let me just get it, it's a clear glaze, what is it called? It's the Nouveau Crystal Glaze. You could use glossy accents as well, same thing, but well, it's not exactly the same thing. But this seem to find that it dries thinner, than it's not as raised as glossy accents, and it is thinner to use, so you don't even have to squeeze the bottle and it just kind of comes out, which is nice because I struggle, you know, with joints. So my joints. So if I'm trying to squeeze the bottle for glossy accents, it's a bit like, but it's a good product too. So you know, got to use both, right? So that's where I sort of added a bit of shine on there. I also used a white gel pen to add some detail to her flower, to her petals, and then a couple of little like accent details on all of them, and to their like cheeks and things like that. So it's just little things like that that you can add that will help to make the I think it helps to bring that kind of, I don't know, it's just like an added detail, but it's a nice detail, do you know what I mean? So what I'll do, before I stamp the sun and the sentiment, I'm just going to explain what I did. Yeah, so this is the base card. This is Mint Macaron Stampin' Up cardstock. It measures 11 by 4 1/4. It's a standard A2 size card. Yeah, that's the card I like using. So we don't need that for now. What I did on here is I used my, I'll try and walk you through all of these as well. I used the largest stitched A2 rectangle die, and what I did was I cut this out of, this is a paper from, I've had this for a few years, I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called now, but it went with a, is it Lift Me Up? Is that the stamp set? That might be. It's a Stampin' Up stamp set from maybe a couple of years ago. So I don't know that this paper is in the catalogue, but I think the stamp set is still available. I think it's called Lift Me Up. But basically I found a cloudy background. That's what I wanted. You could use a plain blue background. That doesn't matter. Oh, I need these. I need these ones. And then what you have to do is decide where you want your little guy to pop up. Right, so you decide where you want the top of his head to be. So this is where I want the top of his head. And the reason I decided that is because I took the piece he's going to jump out from behind, and I popped him behind where I wanted him in the grass, and then just with him there I just marked it. So I then drew a line, a straight line, straight across here in pencil, just so that I had a line to work with, and this will help with placement. And then what you'll find is there is a straight piece. There's this teeny tiny little straight die cut thing, and then there's this funny looking thing with this like curved stitched thing. It's a thing apparently. So with this little straight one, you're going to then line up, because you've already drawn your line down there, you're going to line up the top of it with the top of where the top of his head would be, or whatever the image is, and then line it straight down that line that you've drawn with pencil, and then put that, I used some washi tape just to hold it in place, and then ran it through my die cut. So that creates this little groove, which will make more sense in a minute. And then this little guy, this is to create the pull tab part of it. So what you want to do is you want to line up the center of the, as I eyeballed it, I didn't do any actual measuring. You want to center the center of that, if that made any sense, along the edge here. So I butt the edges, the tab bits on the side, I actually butt them up against the paper. It won't necessarily butt up against the paper if the paper's thinner, but line it up against that. Get that centered with your line that's still here, your pencil line, and then again tape that in place and run it through your die cut, and it'll create this little groove, which is where you're going to pull the pull tab from. I hope that made sense. I'll do another video showing you the whole process another day. So going back to these little things, this is the mechanism that's going to create the tab that's going to pull up and down. So you have this, you start off with this little thing that cuts out, and there are score lines, so you fold in and then out again, and the same on the other side, and it creates this little area, if you like. This piece is going to hold it in place on the back. So what you want to do is you will hold the two front flaps together, push it through the back, and then they will open like so. And that is your pull tab. So that's going to help move whatever it is up and down. And then I'll explain that bit in a minute. You want to leave it at the length it is until you're ready to actually cut, until the actual mechanism is put together properly, before you actually make this tab smaller. So leave it longer for now, and it'll make sense when it goes together. The other thing I want to show you is on my grassy pieces. So you'll see this has got this funny little wedge here, and that's because it's meant to go with the hillside pop-up, I think that's what it's called, die, which is the bit that goes on the inside of a card normally. But because I want to use it as a piece for, you know, some grass on the outside, this piece I'm going to stick flat, and I did have to trim that slightly, a piece of the grass off here, because I didn't want it to interfere with the mechanism. But what I've also done is after I've die cut each of these, I've taken that large stitched, what are they called? Rectangle die, taken it again and very carefully lined up the edges, because these are the right size for this width. I've lined it up on the stitching and then run it through my machine again, so that I get the stitching all the way around. So it doesn't matter when I've placed this on here, you're still going to have stitching all the way around your card, and the same with this piece. So this piece, the smaller one, like I say, I cut that little bit off there just because I wanted to make sure it wouldn't interfere with that. And I'm going to stick this piece on flat, so that, well, just flat. I don't need it raised or anything. This one, however, I wanted to raise up so that it is, again, so that there's a bit of space behind here, so nothing's going to interfere again, and also it gives it a bit more dimension to the card. And what I did was I ran a piece down the bottom, a piece of foam along the bottom, which was great. And then obviously before you take anything off, I then put this up against the card, the front where I was going to have it, turned it over to check that on the back here I'm not going to have any of that sticky foam, because you don't want that to interfere again and get stuck onto this piece. So this needs to be as free as possible, so you've just got to be aware of where you're putting your foam tape and any tape and stuff like that. And then I realised that I would have enough space on this side just to put another piece there, and that should be more than enough to hold it up. It should be fine. So if I do the stamping of the faces and all that, and then what I'll do is I'll insert the what am I trying to say? The bit where I actually coloured the images in, because I like watching that, so I thought you guys might like to see that. So that'll be a sped up version, and then I will come back and I will just do a sped up version of putting it together. So hopefully I've explained enough excuse me, that you will be able to see you know, how it goes together. And Fawn do a brilliant tutorial on the Let's Toast pull-up die. So I am just going to use some black ink here, and happy spring. That's that one. And then his face. Oh, I love Peachy Keen. Don't know why I don't bring him out more often. Oh, look. Oh, maybe you can't see that. Hold on 1 second. Look at, oh, isn't that cute? I love them. I keep forgetting to use them. I love them. Right, I'm going to let you enjoy the colouring bit and then I'll be back. Right, so let's put this together. I will maybe speed up some of this, I'm not sure. I'm just going to kind of wing it at this point. So, you're going to take your mechanism, we're going to pop that through like so. And while you have it, you're going to line up the tab at the top here just so that it's straight, but you're going to mostly, you want this to be all the way to the bottom of the little groove. Right, and then you're going to turn it over like so, and we want some tape. Tape. So on this tabbed piece, you want some in the middle section is where you want some tape, and just be careful not to go over the score lines. So this is going to essentially sit on the back and then wrap around, oh, why can't I get that? And then wrap around the pull tab. If I can get this off, that'd be useful. Right, so you've only got sticky on that section there. So then you're going to, I always find this a little weird to do, but you're going to find that should be okay. Yeah, that should be fine. So where the little groove is there, you want your tab to be somewhat sitting there so that where you put this, it's not going to be squonk. That makes sense. And then you want some tape on this edge only, and I would put it closer to the edge of the thing rather than nearer the actual score line, because that could be, you don't want it to stick to the tab. That'll defeat the object of it moving. So again, just line it up so it's sitting somewhat flat. Ooh. She says, like so. Fold the right one over and then the left one, and that will just hold it in place so it doesn't go all woo. And then that way you can see that it's doing that. Cool, huh? Right, so that's that bit. So on these two flappadoodos, you want to put tape just on this and this edge here. So I'm going to get some new tape because, oh, I just put that in the wrong thing. Never mind. Oh, can't do it. Right, there you go. Right, so on this piece, what you're going to have, should we put them on first? No, because that's probably, yeah, right. Right, sorry about that. So you want your tape just on these two tabs. Oh. And this is where you're going to stick your little character image. In the Let's Toast, you can stick toast on it. Right, the only thing I didn't think about was the size. So I actually need to trim him, not him, this, a bit. I'll be back. Right, so I've had to trim that down because my image is narrower than the toast from Let's Toast. So that's just something to bear in mind before you've taken the sticky off the sticky. That makes sense. So he's all the way down, the tab's all the way at the bottom of the little groove. I'm then going to stick him on I can find it. See how well this works. Like so. And I need him a little higher. So where do I need him? There you go. So hopefully that's... So you'll basically get your image on there and then look, he'll move up and down. Fab. He's so cute. And then this should fit without any interference or anything, but I would lift him up so he's out of the way, and then you can put your these pieces on. So this one, like I say, is going to be flat, so I'll just get tape off. Apologies, this is probably going to be quite a long video. I'll try and do it quite a quick speed up through the colouring, so hopefully you've enjoyed that, but if you've got questions about it then just shout. It was a more involved card, so I kind of wanted to explain what I was doing. So with this piece, again, you've got your stitching on the side. I'm going to line it up as close to the bottom and on the side, level with the side. So basically your stitching should line up, which it does here. And then that can just sit flat. And then I'm going to grab this guy, if I can. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Right. And then this is going to line up along the edge. Oh. So now you've got your bunny who's hiding. Ta-da! It's not an actual bunny, by the way. He's a little dressed up party animal. Well, I don't know about party animal. Right, so when you want to work out where you need to put this little tab to show people what to do with the tab itself, what you need to do is push it all the way down so it's in its bottom place or its hidden place, and then make sure that it's lined up in the groove, and then just use some scissors to cut that off. Just make sure like so, and just cut it as straight as you can across there, and then you can get rid of this piece if you don't need that. And then I would pull it out again and just add some adhesive to this, obviously not to the little hole, because it will come out over there. So I'm trying for the first time some lawn fawn glue. Yeah. Seeing as I'm a bit of an addict. Yes, lawn fawn addict. So the solid piece is going to go behind here, and then the piece that's got the little arrow pointing up is the bit you want on the front. So I'm just going to hold that being liquid glue. The nice thing about liquid glue is that you have enough time to move it around before it sets, if you needed to move it a little bit, which I probably should have, but it's fine. Fine and dandy. So now you've got your little pull tab. It also, by having an extra piece of cardstock, makes it a bit stronger on there. So there you go, and that will show. Maybe someone can answer this. I don't know why I always land up with a groove there. Why is that? This is all the way down, but in theory it should just sit completely flush, so I don't know, but I'm not going to worry too much. It's still cute. Maybe I should have cut the bunny. You don't need the whole bunny, do you? Should I cut his legs off? I know, that sounds really mean. I think I might have to. I think that's what it is. Right, so the bottom of the mechanism oh, see, now he looks like he's in the wrong place. Actually, that's okay, I can make that work. So I've cut, I've cut his legs off so that he's level with the bottom of the actual mechanism. That's why I've cut them off. So what I want to do, because if I go all the way up, you're going to see that there, right? We don't want that. So if we leave him there, oh, so that's how high I want him to come out. I'm going to cut this off again, like you do. And I'm going to make a new plan. Oh no, I've cut it too short now. Oh, I did that wrong. Hold on, I gotta fix this. Right. I had to basically take the whole mechanism out because I kind of messed things up. But I took it, I slid it out the back here, got it out, it came out fairly easily, refinagled and restuck my legless bunny, and now he's in the right place. So that's something to bear in mind, because obviously the shape of this is made, the original shape is made for the shape of toast. So, but you can make it work even with the little images. I also, for this top bit, because I had that funny gap, and I'm pretty sure that's probably something I'm doing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie this down, get it in place, and I'm going to take, instead of folding this over, I'm just going to stick it on here and then trim the other part off, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to put a bit of adhesive on the bit that's got the tab, and there is a score line, so I'll know roughly where to add some adhesive on the back of this. It's made to go around, but I can't work out what I'm doing wrong. I'm sure it's a user error. So he's all the way down. Line this up as best I can. Pop that in there. Just hold that in place, and then I'll trim the entire bit off. And hopefully that'll be the end of that. But like I say, this is me experimenting with it, obviously not being meant for this. So that should be good. I've got Tim Holtz scissors here, and I'm going to trim it off. So this piece again, just chuck. Now that's more level. See, that looks better to me. But like I say, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And also my bunny's hiding better, so that actually makes me happier. So look, he works much better now. Right, so the next thing is to put all these other little guys on, guys and girls. So let's see. What I might do is I might speed through the next bit, because I wanted you to see the mechanism. Oh, like how to put the actual mechanism. The rest of it is just the card. So I'm going to speed through this next bit, and I'll be back at the end so you can see the whole thing. Well, that was a bit pants. My memory card ran out of space. Anyway, so what I've done, I don't know where it cut off at all. So anyway, so what I did after I'd put the whole panel onto the card base is I added some, what is it, some glitter gloss, which is a Nouveau Aqua Shimmer pen. It's just like a clear glitter pen, and I don't know if you'll be able to see the shimmeriness in there. Hopefully you will. So I put that all over the sun. I'd already done these characters, which I think I've said before about, and then when that had dried I then put some crystal glaze just on his face, and that's obviously still wet, so that'll take quite a while to dry, and then once it's dry it's got this beautiful shimmery glossy look to it. And now my battery's going to die, so I'm going to have to talk quicker. So anyway, this is the card. Hopefully you saw the back of this front panel here, where you've got the foam tape around but not over this portion, so it doesn't get stuck. But there you go. That's the finished card. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a bit long, but I hope you found some inspiration with it. And I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked what you saw, and don't forget to check out the rest of my videos if you want some more inspiration and some more cards like this where they're sort of more interactive, or there's lots of different techniques that I'm doing on my channel. So anyway, that's it. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye!